and welcome to another Three Girls, One Deck, where we are doing our spooky decks this month. And I just have to say, right, Julie and Sarah look really cute with their cat ears on. They look like the emo teenager that I was 20 years ago.
Hey, it still works.
It does. Exactly.
I literally look like I did when I was 18. But I have got a Friday the 13th jumper on, and I've got it's got a hockey mask, and but I look like an emo teenager. I was a teenager.
Please, you look great. You look great. Like, you look actually Halloween-y. But Julie and I are both like so half-assed, just like, yeah, here we're done, ready to go. Like, yeah.
But I haven't done anything. I've been wearing the same jumper all day.
Heather's just being herself.
Exactly.
Just my clothes.
Being her authentic self. It's all good.
Exactly. Heather has Halloween in her soul.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is awesome.
It is one of my favorite times of the year.
Oh,
I think with witchy people, it always seems to be like the favorite time of the year for one reason or another.
New Year, right? I mean, it's sounds the New Year, so yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Party time.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, Jen. I cannot believe you are here.
I know.
It's ridiculously early in the morning for you.
I love you so much for showing up at this hour of the morning where you are. Oh my gosh, you're so wonderful.
Thank you. So, shall we just jump right in then, I guess?
Yeah.
We've got a few decks each to show, and Julie, I think, is going to go first today, which is, I say that like that's novel, but Julie quite often goes first. And this time she didn't even lose the dice roll.
I didn't. I was just like, I'll go here first. Let me just save a dice roll because
exactly. She just gave up. She gave up. She's just like, whatever. She accepted her fate.
Exactly. All right. So the first selection that oh my god, wow. Okay, so hello Beth and anyone else coming in. Okay, my first selection is it's a mass market deck, and it's definitely one I've talked about on this channel before. All of these are, but it is Tarot of the Sweet Twilight, and mine is modified. So I chopped off all the multilingual titles and just kind of put, little designations in the corner. But I just think I've been actually working with this deck this week, and I should really get it out more because it is so much fun to work with. It is, to me, it gives Halloween like all day and just year round. I could use this year round as well. So it's like quirky and it's a lot of fun and still has that kind of spooky, like an image like this, kind of weird. So it has that vibe to it. And it is, it's Rider-Waite leaning. So if you are comfortable with that reading format, then, this does deviate a little bit in some of the images, but that's what I actually like about this deck. So, the little white book isn't just a throwaway little white book. I mean, it is helpful to kind of understand maybe some of the images that might not look, as familiar as a traditional image. So
Julie, how do you know which is which if you trimmed the titles off? Do you draw on it?
Yeah, I wrote it on the bottom here. You can't see it, but it's there.
Hold on. You can't see it at all.
Right there. Can you see that? Can you see that?
Ace of Swords.
Ace of Swords.
Oh, yeah.
So I have them written in the corner somewhere just for me to, because sometimes it might not be as obvious. But then, when I look at the designation, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So the images to me overall, I think they track with what the archetype usually means. And it's just it's a fun, and it's a mixture of, it can be also very kind of somber, and then also whimsical and quirky at the same time. So, and these characters just look like they come out of a Halloween movie.
I think it's got a really Tim Burton-esque.
It really does. Yeah, it really does. So, like, for instance, this is the Nine of Cups, which, isn't it doesn't really lean traditional in terms of imagery itself, but it's one of my favorites. So yeah, I just think this is, it's an affordable deck. It's, like I said, it's mass market, and I don't see it talked about a whole hell of a lot. But I love it. Love it so much. And highly recommend if you're into like this kind of like illustration kind of art.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's really all I have to say on this one.
I do really love that 9 of Cups. It's really unique, but it's so cool and interesting.
Really, right?
Like it's beautiful. Yes. So I really love that one. Oh, yeah. And thank you, Good Soup, for the compliment.
Thank you.
Heather should stand up and show her sweater again so that you can see her Halloween theme bit.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to stand up because I've got pajama bottoms on, but no.
Yeah, but at least
bring out there, Sarah.
just for the new folks coming in, like, but
it's a Friday the 13th sweater.
Yeah,
so I've got a hockey mask on it and stuff.
Wonderful. Yeah, and Good Soup is also saying surrealist vibes. Yes, for sure. I think that's actually when we talked about that deck, when we did the surrealist episode with Sarah. Yeah,
Sarah.
I think that's when I bought it. Actually, it was after you showed it last time.
Yeah,
we did that live with Sarah.
I think Sarah bought it as well. So.
Not me, Sarah. Different Sarah. Yeah,
the Sarah. Yeah, the Sarah who was on live with us at the time.
Right. Yeah, exactly. She was a guest. Yeah, on that one. So
yeah, no, I really like that.
Vibe it is not me.
Sorry, what's that?
Oh, sorry, we all talked over each other.
It's okay.
Sorry. We do this.
I don't know.
Yeah. Did you see Beth's comment for you there, Julie? Let me find it for you.
I don't have my glasses on. I'm sorry. I should look at my glasses, Julie. You know, like that's on with only 4 decks. It's so true. It is so true. Like maybe an MJ Cullinane, maybe one of those if I ever buy one, because I do have one, but I don't think you have that one, Beth. I don't think you have the Grimalkin. So yeah.
Whereas if me and Julie got stranded together on a desert island with only 4 decks, we would fight non.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
We definitely have the same taste. So we can't get stranded with each other. We have to either of us can get stranded with Sarah. That would be fun.
Exactly. Yes, odd one out here. So yeah, you don't want to get stranded with me on a desert island anyway, though, because like I would just not do well in that environment.
I wouldn't either.
Very poorly. Like, Julie at least has been like camping and stuff recently. I like don't even try. Like that's just.
Oh my god. Oh, you do have it. I didn't know you had the Grimalkins, Beth. Okay. Well, that would be the one that we would fight over.
Yeah.
You don't have that one though, Julie, do you?
Yeah, the Grimalkins I have, yeah.
Oh, you do? I didn't think you had any of MJ Cullinane decks.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good cat one. So yes. Okay. So then Sarah's up, right?
Yes. And I like debated a lot over what to talk about because like the reality of the situation is I don't have very many at all like spooky season decks, and the ones that I do have I've talked about like 10,000 times. So I decided to talk about the ones that I'm using right now. Unfortunately, that is going to make my segment here like a total spoiler for when we do our like October wrap up because it's the decks that I'm using this month. So one of them that I am using is it's not really spooky so much as it is just.
I'm so sorry for that. I mean, that's a really good point. You can just win your turn.
It's full tarot reader Lord of the Flies. Like, kill the pig, take her deck. Like, that's what it would be like.
It's a really, really good point.
That's hilarious.
I'm sorry, Sarah. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay, sorry.
That was hilarious. That is true. I mean, we're tarot readers and we really love our decks. So it's full Lord of the Flies. So
okay.
And hi Logan. Where was I? Oh, yes. So this deck that I'm going to talk about, it's not actually spooky per se, but it's kind of like a slightly spooky vibe, I guess. And I felt like it worked really well with the tarot deck that I am using this month. But anyway, so the one that I am using for Oracle this month it's called the Endless Oracle. Oh. And I just got this recently. And the reason that I got it is because Liz from Liz Westwater from Westar tarot. She was doing like a big declutter of her deck collection. This is one of the decks she was actually decluttering. So it was fully one of those situations where I see a deck that somebody else is getting rid of and I like need to have it immediately. But this is such a cool oracle. So it's basically, again, it's not actually spooky. It's just vibes, but it's very much like it all kind of takes place at night. It's a Miriorama deck. So all of the cards like fit together like in a overall vignette and put them together, which is cool, which I do like. But it's again very place centric, very location centric, and it's all sort of like you're wandering through a forest at night. So it has this real, I don't know, it has a little bit of a spooky vibe to it. And it's such a cool deck. Like I find it really, really intuitive. I love the feeling of the setting and everything like that. It has the night sky in every card has like a different sort of constellation or celestial event, which he talks about in the guidebook, the meanings for all of those things. So that's really cool. And you know, a lot of it isn't like, it isn't spooky, but you know, if you like that feeling of wandering through a forest at night, you know, and seeing different like interesting things and people, like it has a little bit, I guess, of a spooky vibe.
I can see that, especially the color palette too. It's definitely giving like Halloween spook. Yeah,
it definitely has. And there are some cards that I feel like, you know, there's the cat. There's some card like the figure by the fire. I find this one very spooky. Ooh. Like that's a cool card. So like it's just a really beautiful deck. I love the overall feel of it. The one thing that I will say, the guidebook is great. It's a nice, good sized guidebook. Each card has its own page and there's quite a bit of information for every card. I will say that I feel like right now I'm using it for just one card a day daily draws. And I don't feel like I'm really using the deck to like its full potential by doing that, because it does have that sort of Miriorama, you know, layout to it, where if you put down multiple cards in a reading, they all connect together. And then the guidebook has a lot of information about how to read the cards in a larger spread, like a lot of discussion for each card about like directionality and like, you know, what is the figure in this card looking at when you put it down with other cards and all that kind of stuff. And so it is really, really cool that way, but I do feel like I should start using it for larger spreads, I guess, because I feel like I would get even more out of it than I'm getting out of it as an oracle. But it is just like, it's really cool. It's really cool, really beautiful. This deck is, I don't know. It was one of those ones where the second I saw it, I had to have it because the vibe just felt like very me, you know, like I really love it. So,
I mean, that's
again, it's got, sorry, Julie, go on.
No, go ahead. You go.
I say it's got a really strong sense of place, this deck, which is very Sarah.
Very Sarah.
This is always me on my bullshit. Love a strong sense of place. Every time.
I can see that deck taking you in through the winter too, you know, because it just looks like it would, you can use that spooky season into just the winter season, really, yeah.
I mean, honestly, I feel like you could even use it any season.
Yeah, any season, summer.
It kind of works at any time of year. I feel like it just, for purposes of like, because I just got it really recently, and I, you know, it felt like it had a bit of a spooky vibe to kind of work for Halloween, because I don't really have very many spooky oracles at all. Like, like I really don't own any oracles like that. So it felt like it would really work, but I, you know, it could be a summer night. It could be it could be kind of like any place, anytime. The distant walled city. I don't know. I think it's so cool, and I love the vibe of it. So
when you pull an oracle card a day, do you pull it as part of your tarot card a day, or do you do them as two completely separate things?
I pull them together as a pairing. So sometimes it's like any other reading. Sometimes they really speak to each other, and sometimes they each speak to something separate, and it just sort of depends on the day, you know. So, but I pull them at the same time.
Oh, that's pretty.
Here's the Demon King. So this is also, there are expansion packs to this deck. So if you buy it on Etsy, there's like the main deck, and then there's an expansion pack with 6 extra cards. And this was, I got the expansion pack also just because, like, you know, it was cool. And like it also had some cards based on, I'm not sure, I can't remember which video game, but there's the Demon King is one of the ones that was
Zelda. Logan was the question as you were saying it.
Zelda expansion.
Yeah. So yeah, and it is super atmospheric, good soup. Like that's totally the vibe. Like that is why it felt like it could work. So anyway, so that's the Endless Oracle.
Which tarot deck did you say you're working with? That pairing that with, or did you?
I'm just working with the Boo Tarot, and it's really just like a color palette and overall Halloweeny kind of vibe that makes it work. So I'll talk about the Boo Tarot in a little bit. But yeah, those are the 2 decks that I'm using. This, they definitely have a very different vibe, but from a color palette standpoint, they work quite well.
Yeah. Okay, and then we are with.
I hate following Sarah. She always has the nicest, most interesting decks and like, stuff to talk about. And then I bowl along with my, I've got the Halloween tarot, which is really cute.
Yes,
plays into my emo teenager phase that I'm apparently going through.
Okay, the Halloween tarot is one of the best Halloween decks, though. Like I have that deck. I love it. It's a great deck. So
yeah. I mean, this again, spoiler for our end of the month catch up, but I've been working with this deck pretty much all month. And do you know what? The light on my laptop is rubbish, but this was like the first time I think that I bought a deck that was so heavily themed. And I'd never really done that before, but I have used it outside of Halloween. I just think it just works really well. It reads really well. It's very RWS, so it's really easy to read and to learn with. The change of the suits really works for me as well, but if you wanted me to explain why, I'm not sure I would be able to tell you. Like I like that you've got ghosts for cups, you've got pumpkins for pentacles, imps for wands, and bats for swords. And it just, like, in my head, I'm just like, yeah, that totally tracks, but don't ask me to explain why it totally tracks. It just does. And it's just really, it's cute and creepy. It's absolutely my vibe. It's cute and creepy. It's that, let's take things that are like in reality would be terrifying and make them fun and cute and just very cartoony. I love it. I don't really know what else to say about it though.
No, it's a classic. I think I might be the only one who doesn't have that deck, actually. Yeah.
In the world, I'm sure that's not true.
Amongst us good people here, I might be the only person.
So I'm sure you're not the only person who doesn't have it.
one of the only people who doesn't have it, it seems. Yeah.
Although I have to say, the 9 of Ghosts does actually scare me a little bit on this deck. I don't know if you can see his face.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he is quite.
Yeah. 9 of Cups, but it's like I guess it because in the like traditional RWS, the guy's got quite a not very pleasant to look at facial expression. So I suppose it totally works.
And the man spread going on too.
Yeah. But his face, the ghosts are really cute, but then this guy in the foreground.
Yeah. Okay, so Laura doesn't have it either. Laura doesn't have. Okay, so I'm not alone. I'm not alone.
There's 2 people in the world who don't have this.
2 people in the world who do not have the Halloween tarot.
You and Laura.
Yeah, Beth doesn't have it either.
Tarot readers in the world, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's so. Well, I have 2 favorite things.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say my 2 favorite things about the Halloween tarot. One of them is that it does come in a tin, and I have the tin version, and so I use it all the. I carry it around at Halloween, like it's the deck that I always have in my bag at Halloween. I love it. I feel like I've talked about it before, so I didn't want to bring it out again, but it's a favorite for this time of year. It's so cute and funny. But I also love the little cat in every card.
That's
like
yeah.
That is, I love that. Like find the cat in every card. Like
every single card. Love that so much. I think I mean, I was tempted to get the one in the tin because the one I originally had was the full size version, and I just wasn't using it a lot. And I think that kind of had to do with the cardstock being that that cardstock that I hate. So I just never. It's so thick, and so I just never really picked it up. But maybe the tin size, I feel like would be more manageable, kind of like the Morgan Greer,
I really like it. I think it shuffles really well. It riffle shuffles really well, but I don't know if that's just because I've broken it.
You might have broken it, and
because
I never got to that point.
Yeah, it is quite. It does feel quite large.
I
mean, I've got, I don't know, normal size hands for somebody who's 5'8". I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but it is quite large to get your hands around, especially lengthwise. So it is, Julie, I think you would definitely struggle with it.
Yeah. So maybe one day the tin size version will make its way to my collection, but
I love it. And even if I only use it once a year, and I don't even always use it once a year because I don't use it every October because I have so many decks that work for October but I still love it enough that even if I only pulled it out once every couple of years, it's still worth it for me to have it and keep it. I think, but now I want the one in the tin because you've both been talking about it.
And I really like what is it? The Seven of Pentacles in the deck too, the pumpkin head guy, because that reminds me of Over the Garden Wall. Like that guy just, and it's also the time of year for Over the Garden Wall. So
I have never watched that. It is.
I don't know what that is.
I know. Okay, I've never heard of it before. Isn't there like is there a deck or something that is based? Okay, that's the first time I heard of it. First time. Okay. And people were freaking out about this. And I'm like, what is this Over the Garden Wall situation? Like, I have never heard of it before.
Okay.
The first time I heard of it was about 30 seconds ago when it came out.
Okay, see?
So both of you need to watch Over the Garden Wall because it's amazing. It's an animated series, but it's so short. Each episode is only like 10 or 12 minutes long. And so you can watch the whole thing. It's like as long as a movie, to watch the whole thing. I do not have the deck based on Over the Garden Wall. I did back it on Kickstarter when it first came out. And then I ended up moving it along because I just wasn't reaching for it, even though it was like a really, really cute and awesome deck. Like it was a great, great, adorable deck. So I don't have the deck, but you guys would both really, really love Over the Garden Wall, and you should watch it. And it does
this one you said it reminds you of Over the Garden Wall.
Yes. Right? There's this one part of Over the Garden Wall where they go to this like creepy seeming village that's populated by all these people with like pumpkins and gourds and stuff for heads, and like and it's really delightful. It's a perfect like Halloween show that's like not super scary in any way, but it's basically about these two kids who are like out trick-or-treating and they like get lost in the woods, and like and they're like being chased by something scary basically, and they like make different friends and meet different creatures and stuff along the way, and it's just weird and whimsical and a little creepy, and it's very delightful. You guys would both like it, and you should watch it. So
okay
noted.
I will look for it.
I think it's on Hulu still.
Is it on?
We don't have Hulu in the UK.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it would be on in the UK. But
a lot of the stuff that's on Hulu, I think, is on the Disney Channel, but I don't think I've ever seen it on the Disney, not Disney Channel, Disney Plus.
Disney Plus,
where a lot of Hulu. Oh my god, I can't even say that word. Hulu shows are, but I don't know if that's on there or not. I'd have to have a look.
Yeah. It's just a really delightful. And like I said, it's like, I don't know, I think it's like 10 episodes and each one is like 12 minutes. So it's like you can watch the whole thing in like an evening, it's quick. So
this is like it's just like one season. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep. For such, I don't know, it's just something about the vibe of it for something that's so just like short and weird, and like it has a big following just as a result of how kind of amazing and different it is from anything else that's out there, even though it's just like a very small thing, like it's not like a long running series or anything like that, but it's one of those things that a lot of people like watch every Halloween because it's such a great fall slightly creepy vibe kind of show. So
Okay.
So here's an unrelated question that you just made me think of as you said watch it every Halloween. So Nightmare Before Christmas, is that a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie? In your opinion, there's obviously no right or wrong answer. Just like
for me, it feels more Halloweeny than Christmas.
Yeah, I think of it as a Halloween movie. So
yeah, me too.
And it's not really even one of my faves, to be honest. I know everyone is all about that movie, but I can take it or leave it. I don't make like a concerted effort to like rewatch that one. I did watch it recently. Maybe it was last year that I rewatched it, but other really.
Laura, it's both.
It's both. I mean, yeah.
That wasn't one of the options, Laura.
I mean, that totally works. But yeah, I don't know. I always just think of it as Halloweeny because it's like Halloween and then it turns Christmas creepy like Halloween. Yeah. So it
feels vibe. Whereas
yeah, it's not. I have to admit, I do like Tim Burton films, but it's also not one of my favorites either. I enjoy it. I like the songs, and I'll watch it if it's it's on or whatever.
Yeah,
but there are Halloween films in general that I just
prefer.
Hocus Pocus. That's the best Halloween film ever. Well, actually, my favorite Halloween film is Halloween, but in terms of like fun, kid-friendly Halloween films, Hocus Pocus is probably my favorite.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Yeah, Hocus Pocus is pretty delightful.
Yeah, I still have to watch that. I one day maybe.
You've never seen it?
No.
This is another Julie where like we are going to have to force her to watch it someday because like although I will say I like Hocus Pocus a lot, but it like wasn't part of my childhood the way it was for so many people.
Yeah,
like,
I
never see it until like a couple years ago. So it's not. I don't have like that strong like nostalgia thing with it. Like I don't love it like a lot of people do. Yeah, but I enjoy it. It's a really delightful movie. Okay. So
I have it somewhere on a queue on probably Disney Plus, and I know that there's the second one that came out, which I don't know if that was well received or not, but at the very least, I need to watch the first one. I feel because every Halloween, it's all about Hocus Pocus. That's what anyone talks about. So I understand. I'm late. I'm very late.
Yeah, I love that film. But also, I saw that film when it came out when I was quite young, and then me and my friend went through a stage where we watched it every day for about 3 weeks in a row. Because that's what we did when we were young, and we liked something. So yeah. I have a lot of nostalgia wrapped up in that film.
Oh, makes sense. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's Julie's turn again.
Yeah.
It is. I'm trying to think of which one I want to do. It's like
we got time.
Because I could do the one since you guys are doing spoilers for like the ones you've been actually working with. I could do that, or I could do the one I had scheduled.
Yeah. I mean, it'll make our monthly catch up easier to edit because it'll just be a shorter section.
Then let me go with that.
Actually, whose turn is it to have the monthly catch up?
Sarah, I think it's yours.
Definitely make it easier to edit. So, like, let's all talk spoilers.
Okay, cool. So then,
mine this time was really hard. Also,
just so you guys all know, like every time we film a monthly catch up, like we literally sit and talk for like 2 hours and then try to somehow get that down to like a half hour to 45 minutes.
An hour.
It's like we always just end up shooting the shit just like nonstop for like a long time.
Long time.
Totally unrelated things. And so the edited version, like it's a lot of editing.
It's a lot
to get a watchable video out of it.
Oh my gosh. We do it for y'all. We do it for you all. So you're welcome.
I had to do it 3 times this time because it kept going wrong.
Yeah, I felt really bad for you because I was just like, oh my God, so close and yet so far away.
Oh, well, okay, it got there in the end.
Yes, it did. Okay, so this one I love so much, and I worked with it for like the last couple weeks before I moved on. And I don't know, I don't really feel this is like Halloweeny per se, but I think people equate it. This is the Raven's Prophecy. We've talked about this as well on channel, but legit, like this is one of my top favorite decks of all time. And I think people think Halloween because of the color scheme, the orange that people either love or really hate. It's polarizing. Once again, I've modified this deck. So whereas originally it does have like the same orange here all the way around, I cut that off. So anyway, oh my God, I love this deck so much. I really do. And it is based on a book, a novel series by Maggie Stiefvater called the Raven Cycle series. And so it's inspired by it, but you don't need to have read the books in order to use this deck. Because I know several people who have this deck and they have said they haven't read the series, they don't plan to read the series, and you have the guidebook, then you're good to go. And I think the guidebook is just concise enough that it gives you the inspiration behind the image, and at the same time it's like open for your own interpretation as well. And another thing that I love about this deck is that it isn't just like Rider-Waite-Smith, sister from a different mister. It's not just like a clone or like closely. It's like just its own thing. In terms of images, it's so much its own thing in its own world. And so I just love it so much. And actually, can I toot our horns for a minute? Because we did a series. Three Girls Meets the Raven Cycle series. You can find the playlist. But where we talk about the connections between this young adult book series and the deck. And I actually just recently went back to revisit it while I was working with this deck to kind of see what we were talking about. And like, we're just so good. Like, honestly, you guys like, so it's just so like, and it's also helped me like to re-jog my memory about the discussions we've had on this deck, and it's really helped me to just have a renewed appreciation for a lot of these images and like the different ways you can read these images. So it's so good. And I feel like it is a deck that, again, a lot of people don't talk about a lot, and it is handsy. There are a lot of hands, yes, but I don't know. I just really like it. I just love her art style. I love Maggie Stiefvater. She can do no wrong in my eyes, really. So, thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is so awesome.
Yeah,
I'm so happy.
I was about to toot our own horn too, but Julie did it much better than I was going to. So. I was ready to jump in and be like, "Oh, and we did a video."
By the way, yeah, me too, but not quite like that.
Not to brag, but where's the lie? Yeah. Like, no, we worked hard on that series. Like, we read the we read the books. We, took our notes. I mean, we put work into that. So,
and I do have to say, like, I know that it is true that you don't have to have read the books to work with the deck. For me, that I don't think that that is the case, because the deck is so minimal, which is not really normally my style. So under any other circumstance, this deck probably wouldn't work for me. But because I have read the books and we talked about them at such length and had to really deliberately read through them in an effort to make connections between the cards and the books, I think now I love this deck. Whereas if we hadn't done that, I'm not sure this deck would have hit for me in the same way.
That makes sense. I think mileage may vary, but I think that certainly reading the series does just add more depth and layers, and makes it all the more fun and enjoyable, and just it's so insightful to read. So it is one that is, because it isn't traditional per se, it is going to be hit or miss with people for sure. But from what I have heard from a few other people, that they and it could be that they are keen on more minimal type decks and such, and so they didn't seem to have a problem. So for anybody who does like more minimal style decks, does seem to like be drawn to this type of like art, and you have a pretty good foundation in RWS, then with the guidebook, I think you stand a decent chance then.
Yeah, I mean, the guidebook is also very good.
It is. Hello, Maggie Stiefvater, writer, artist, musician. Like, God, is there anything she can do?
Even knows everything about cars. Like, she blows
my mind. I know, honestly.
Rides horses. Like, she does everything. So,
she does everything. Yeah. So, not jealous at all. But anyway, so
yeah.
that is my spoiler.
This I think is true because there are definitely certain cards in that deck where like it makes perfect sense as a card, but when you make the connection with the book, there's just so much resonance that it gains,
Oh my
and it makes you
gosh,
think of
yes.
certain characters and like certain plot elements of the story, and it just is it definitely brings a lot of emotion to the deck.
It really does. I love it so much. Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Honestly, and it's a fabulous. I don't know. It's really like there's no other deck I feel like that's quite like that one in terms of just the combination of the art style, which I think is actually really unique and beautiful and like colorful. And it's very vibrant, even though it's very dark, and it's I don't know, it's just like a really cool. So the combination of that deck, that symbolism, that like there's nothing really like it out there. It's just a very unique deck in just about every way, I feel like. So it's really cool.
For sure. I do think, unfortunately, the orange borders turn a lot of people off. I have to admit, it turned me off. I'm like, I cannot, I cannot with these, but then after actually we did have the three girls, was it it was at the very first video where Heather was saying like now she understood after reading why that choice was made for that bright orange border. It's like, oh, I appreciate that more. Oh my God, that makes so much sense. And I appreciate it so much more.
Yeah.
So
although I will say, like, there is no excuse not to make that deck borderless. Nothing about that art. Like you could, because all of the art is just like one thing sitting in the middle of like a black ocean. And like there is no bleed issue if you're printing and cutting that deck. Like you're not going to have any issue making it borderless. So there's no excuse not to make it borderless.
There is no excuse. There is no excuse not to make this front a little more symmetrical so that should people decide to trim it, it doesn't look like a hot mess express inside of a dumpster fire when you're done. Like this is a different kind of mod job that, took me a little longer, where I had to really figure out how I was going to keep everything like on the backs. And then that forced me to actually keep, I don't know if you can see it, but it actually forced me to keep some of the orange, which I then colored in with Posca marker.
Oh, okay.
So you can even see some of it's like coming off a little bit, which I don't mind. I think it adds to the look, but I mean, that's ultimately what I had to do because they don't make it easy in any sense, even if you wanted to modify it. Like they just, nothing symmetrical, nothing is like easy with this deck, which is ridiculous. So angry.
Yeah. Like Jen, I actually quite like the orange borders now too.
Yeah. Oh, and Jen, and you haven't read the books or the guidebook. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too, is that I do think it's like a very strongly intuitive deck in a lot of ways. It just even without reading the books or reading the guidebook, like the images are very potent. There's a lot you can get out of them. I feel like you have to like take some time and sit with it and stuff like that, but it just they do suggest a lot. So I do like that.
Yeah. So that was my second choice.
All right, Sarah, shall we talk about the Boo Tarot?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the Boo Tarot. I mean, like, I just, my only other spooky decks are like the Bohemian Gothic and the Halloween Tarot. And like, I don't, it's like I use those ones every year. I feel like I've talked about both of them before, so I'm like,
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I finally have another spooky deck, and it's this adorable one. So spooky is just not so much my aesthetic.
Spoopy. Like spoopy,
Spoopy. This deck is definitely spoopy. Like this deck is so cute. I love it so much. And like, I don't even have all that much to say about it other than that it's so cute. And I love it so much. It's just like, look how adorable these little ghosts are. They're so cute.
Really cute.
That's the whole thing. Like, that's pretty much it. Like, this is the strength card. I actually really love this strength card. Like this, because you know what it makes me think of? Like the BTS fans in the group, this when you think about the shadow in the Black Swan video and like the strength card that we chose for the Bangtan Tarot, that's what this makes me think of. It's like the shadow behind you, like your shadow as a person, the darkness behind you. So I really love that strength card, but it's just a really sweet, adorable, wonderful deck. It's got, just such a it's got all of these hints of spooky stuff, like it's like spilled cauldrons and like bones, all the wands are bones, like, but it's all just done in this incredibly adorable way, and all the ghosts on the majors have little holographic sparkles on them, and it's so great. So I'm just very
it's really cute.
Like, really cute. It is really
I'm not gonna lie, that is on my wish list for sure.
Look at the moon.
Is it the same cardstock as the Tarot Renard?
No, I think she said it was a little more flexy than the Tarot Renard.
Definitely more flexible than the Tarot Renard. Like, I will say that I know that there are a fair number of people who don't like this cardstock, and it's because and it's not because it's not flexible. Like, it is very flexible, but it doesn't have very much like snapback. Like, if you flex it stays bowed, like it stays quite bowed. So so that that is kind of an issue, I think, for a lot of people, and I don't mind it ultimately, because you can always bend it back and like make it go back to how it's supposed to be. But so it is very flexible, but it definitely it doesn't
snap back.
It doesn't snap back. So but I also love this little ghosts washing themselves in the washing machine as the Wheel of Fortune.
It's so cute.
So cute. There's a little vending machine, like I don't know. So anyway,
I nearly bought this deck, but getting decks from France to the UK is so hard now.
I was very, very tempted, and it was the cardstock that really just was the deal breaker, until Sarah said that actually the cardstock isn't so bad this time. And so I was like, okay.
and I mean, I think actually quality wise, probably like in the grand scheme of what most people think of as like quality cardstock, it's probably worse than the Tarot Renard, but it's more flexible, definitely. And it's easier to shuffle, definitely. So for Julie, I think that it would work better for sure. Okay. Yeah, and like, look, the Fool is walking off a gargoyle. Like,
it's really.
I'm just gonna just to pause for a minute to bring Marlena.
Yes,
I'm not anti-Katers at all, but Sarah and Julie have done cute Halloween, and I'm doing emo teenager. So I do actually have a Friday the 13th jumper on with a hockey mask on it and everything. However, I do have to point out, I'm not dressed up. I've been wearing it all day. It's just my clothes.
I was just doing everyday Heather. So
I did just turn up in my clothes. It just so happens that my clothes are
next year, Heather, you're gonna have to get some hat ears for next year.
You know what? I do have, like, weirdly, I used to go out a lot for Halloween, like clubbing and stuff when I was a little teeny bit younger, and I do have dressing up stuff in the cupboard still. I've got like a hat and a Freddy Krueger glove and all sorts, but I'm just wearing my clothes.
I can imagine you trying to like flip cards on a live with your Freddy Krueger.
You know, right? And they're proper like long knives on them as well.
Sorry, I'm just laughing. Heather's everyday slasher couture.
I know.
That is so funny.
I
would apologize, but I'm genuinely not sorry. So.
Nothing to be sorry about.
I am who I am.
No, it's
look. Yeah,
exactly. I'm not a slasher movie person, but like I have a full appreciation for the existence of slasher movies as a genre and people who love them, and I love it. I think it's great. Like,
yeah, I also have, for my birthday, my friend bought me ghost face slippers, so I now also have ghost face slippers from Scream.
That's fabulous.
Because I am I love horror, like all kinds of horror, but slashers are my favorite. My absolute favorite. So
Yeah. Scream is actually one of the only horror movies I saw in the theater. Like I actually, when that first came out, went to see it in the theater because it was such a big deal, you know. But it's one of the only ones. So anyway,
really good one.
Oh, and the only other thing is that the world is a ghost sleeping in a pumpkin spice latte. So
come on. Yeah.
I mean,
this is all the vibes. Okay, I might have
I
to
don't even like pumpkin spice lattes, and I still think that's adorable. So like, it's
maybe for next year, I might have to.
No, I have not seen the Horror Oracle with slasher movies, but now I want to.
I've seen a little bits of it. I've seen a few cards here and there.
Is it one that's like in production or out there already?
No, I think it's out. I thought. I could have sworn I saw an actual video on it. I could be misremembering. I feel like it's out though. So
okay, I'm just going to show one more card, and then we'll make it'll be Heather's turn. But
no hurry.
I also love the Tower card because it's one of the only other Tower cards I've seen that sort of has the vibe of the Tower card in the Everyday Witch, where the little ghosts have like they've set the tower on fire. Like they have little matches and they've like set the, you know, they blew it up themselves. So like I that's so cute and mischievous.
It's so cute.
Yeah, it's so cute. So this is just an adorable deck. So anyway, but it's Heather's turn. So
I feel like
more ghosts.
Let me do this. Okay.
Cool. Look, see, now you can see my jumper. Look, see. I'm like a hockey mask on, like scaring the shit out of people. No, not really, because that would suggest that I've actually been anywhere today, and I haven't. But... So the other one that I'm going to talk about is the Halloween Oracle by Stacey DeMarco, which again I have actually been working with all month, but I love this oracle. This is one of my favorites of all the oracles that I own, and I use this one all year round because I just really like it. It's really shiny though, so you're not going to be able to see any of the cards.
I think most people have seen this one around.
Yeah. Well, look, it's not too bad as long as I hold it.
No, it's good.
I just spider warning. Look away now, Sarah.
Oh.
What did I just say?
Yeah,
but it's like it just is a really, really good deck. It goes really well with the Halloween Oracle, obviously for obvious reasons. But I like you've got just enough. You've got just enough information. So you've got a title, and then you've got like a kind of keywordy bit under the title, which is just enough to get my brain ticking over and stuff, which I actually discovered I really like with oracles is either just a title or a very simple keyword. I like the artwork. I like Stacey DeMarco stuff anyway, but I do. The guidebook's actually really good. It's really informative, and I tend to, unless I've already had the card within the last few days, whatever, I do tend to read the guidebook with this oracle deck when I pull a card. So I just think it's really beautiful.
Really, all the recycled skulls bother you? Because I know that's a sore point for a lot of people.
The what now?
So the skulls, the close up of some of the skull images, they're just kind of, well, maybe we shouldn't talk about.
They're all the same image, yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I was gonna say, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't talk about it.
Yeah, just as Julie's like, we shouldn't talk about it. I'm like, yeah, it's this.
Why shouldn't we talk about it? Now I'm really confused.
Well, just because I don't want to like now, you know, have it be something you can't unsee.
Right.
But
yeah, but
never mind.
Well, basically, all the skulls in the deck are like the same image of a skull. Like they're the same like clip art of a skull.
Yeah, it's this
exact cracks in the head and like everything, you know.
Are they? Because like this one has no front teeth, and this one has front teeth.
I don't know,
but this one has like flowers and stuff all over it, and this one has no flowers and stuff all over it. They all look different to me, every single one.
Okay, yeah. I don't know because I don't have. I just know that I think there are, because there's more than one skull. I think there's actually
4.
more.
I think there's 4. Yeah. So
then I think there are a couple where yes, they might have slapped on like a different like, you know, element to it, but the skull itself is. So people have said, I don't, what.
We're just saying what other people complained about. Neither of us own the deck, so never mind.
No, even if that's true, no, it doesn't bother me. I genuinely don't care.
Never mind, it doesn't matter. Okay.
Is the short answer. I'm really like, I thought it was something really controversial when you were like, oh, maybe we shouldn't talk about it. And I'm like, why? Why should we not?
Just what? I just get, just cautious about, because again, I know that I'm this way when it's like something's pointed out to me and then like I can't unsee it, and it may or may not, negatively affect
I don't. They probably won't even remember that we had this conversation.
Okay, fantastic.
That's good. You don't want it to be like how Gordon Ramsay is in the Seven of Pentacles in the Fountain Tarot, because I'm like, that's still there for me, and I can never unsee it ever. I
never heard of that. Really? Okay.
Yeah, the Seven of Pentacles in the Fountain Tarot looks exactly like Gordon Ramsay, and it just like once somebody pointed it out, I was like, oh my god, and I think of it as the Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
That might put me off. Oh no, I don't know though. I don't know if it would. I would even see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have that deck either, so yeah.
I'm really confused. Can you tell? Because I've totally like shut down. I'm like, because my brain is going, I don't understand what the problem is. So now I'm trying to figure out what it is that people are complaining about.
Not a problem. I think just for others, I think the idea is that the others, it is more noticeable to them that it looks like too much of the same image. If you get like, if you pull two of them at the same time.
There's five of them.
Oh, five. Okay. So
yeah.
Then it feels like the argument is it feels lazy.
Do you know what though? I could see that for two of them, like these two, apart from slightly different coloring, are basically the same image. Yeah. So I could totally see that argument of, okay, that's just the same card. If you just pulled them, it would be difficult to know which was which. But the other three, like one of them is, like I say, has got flowers all over it. One of them's got a candle on top, and one of them's behind a pomegranate. I'm like, to me, in my head, they're three. All right, they're all three skulls, but they're three completely different images. Like,
fantastic.
Yeah, I'm just
sorry I brought it up.
No, it's why? It's an interesting conversation.
And I'm just distracted because this byplay about the Fool in the Gilded Tarot looking like George W. Bush is like cracking me.
Oh my god.
I'm like dying. Like this whole byplay is hilarious to me. So that's all I'm distracted by.
Another deck I don't have, so I'm gonna have to look.
No, I don't have. No, I do have that one, but yeah, again, I'm gonna have to dig it out and have a look because I wouldn't have noticed.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry, this is just so funny to me. So
that's
anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
And anywho, so yeah, it's a cool deck.
Like, I'm really confused because I thought it was an interesting conversation, but now I feel like I'm not allowed to have it, so I'm just gonna move on then.
We're just getting totally distracted by the comment section or the live chat. Eric Stoltz in the Hardy chat. You know what? Thank goodness I don't have any of these because I would not be able to unsee some of these. I feel.
Yeah. I will say the Queen.
I quite like it though. I quite like seeing, like, being able to see people in cards. I think that's interesting.
I guess it depends.
It depends.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
Because I can see where it might just distract me to, it just distract me a little too much and take me out of a reading where it was like all I saw was, okay, Eric Stoltz. That's all I see. Like I can't even get a reading from this. But
yeah, the ones in the Fountain Tarot, like it doesn't bother me that Gordon Ramsay is the Seven of Pentacles. I always see it, but it's like it looks like a guy. Like he's not actually cooking in the card, but it's a guy who's like focused on something that he's doing with there's like an outcome, and so that fits. And then the Queen of Wands in that deck looks exactly like Tori Amos, which is like perfect.
That is perfect.
She's like a total Queen of Wands kind of figure, in terms of what she does musically and stuff. So like that one totally works for me. So it really depends, but like George W. Bush is the Fool. I don't know. I mean, on the one hand, it's kind of hilarious. On the other hand, though, it's like then I'd have to see George W. Bush's face.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes it's deliberate though, isn't it? Like the Cosmic Tarot has got is very deliberately, they are actual actors in that deck, and it's meant to look like them because it is them.
Exactly.
So, but it's not like, nowhere does it tell you that. It doesn't tell you that in the information or the guidebook or anything. It's just they were very specific art choices that was made by the creator.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like pop culture reference. Like I know it like doesn't look like Omar Sharif, and like when, you know, like there's like specific reasons why they picked that particular reference to something in pop culture. So
I mean, Marlena is talking about, I do like that movie. That's a very nostalgic movie for me, actually. Very nostalgic. And also him in Mask. So
sorry, we've just driven somebody away.
Oh no!
Sorry, we don't want to ruin your deck for you.
If you can't hang, you can't hang, you know. Serpent Fire is deliberate. Yes, Elizabeth Taylor, Stevie Nicks. Yeah.
Sometimes like it's that's the thing for me as well. Like I don't, if you point out that card looks just like some actor on the telly, I just think that's interesting. If I draw a card and I'm like, oh my god, that looks like the guy that I used to live across the road, who was a total fucking dick nozzle, then that's a problem for me.
I've had, you know, a deck or two where I'm like, I need to move this along because all I can see is this person doing this action in this deck, and it just trips me up, and I don't care for it at all. So
oh, this one. Okay, now I need to know, Laura, which card in the lightsaber.
So we can go and have a look.
Exactly. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
I'm going to be curious about this forever now.
Yes. So now we're all moving on to animal decks, Marlena. That's true. We're for the rest of the time.
That's it. Is animal decks can't hurt us.
I did not know that Doreen Virtue was illustrated in the Angel Tarot. That's
wait, did I know that? I feel like I might have known that.
I don't even, off the top of my head, I don't even know if I know the Angel Tarot at all.
You know, and it's funny because like I don't really care for that either when like creators are, I mean, you know, if I happen to find it out, then it may or may. I don't think I've actually ever had any decks actually where the creator has been like featured in a card, but the Moon Void is pretty much that deck that deck creator featured in all the cards, and yet it works for me. I don't know why, but for some reason the illustration style and I don't know, that one doesn't bother me. But when it is like the style of illustration where it looks almost a little bit on the realistic side, and then you've got like a portrait image of them as like an angel or whatever, I feel like that would be like as a goddess. Didn't somebody, a deck creator, put themselves as like a goddess energy in one of her decks? Like, or am I, you know what? Never mind.
Well, and so it looks like everybody used to date the Lightseers. So like this.
That's hilarious.
I would, but I didn't.
Not me. If only some of my exes were that hot, you know, but no.
Sorry, this cracked me up.
So that's hilarious.
Cool. All right. Well, I think, unless Julie, you want to talk about your other deck, I think we're pretty much done.
Yeah, no, we're good. I mean, we're good unless you know, anybody in the live wants us to. Do you guys have any backups?
No. I mean, yes, but they're all over there in my not that I brought with me.
Okay, so Beth is saying my ex is the King of Pentacles, and it pisses me off. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
Yeah, am I reading it? Yeah. Okay, I understand. That's a nice it's a nice King of Pentacles, though. I'm not gonna lie.
I think that would be the deal breaker for me. That would be the moment when I'm like, I can't unsee it, and now I can't read this card in any way that's at all productive.
Yeah.
I think that would be a like time to move on. Which, if it was the Lightseers, I would be absolutely gutted about because I love that deck.
I just got the tin of because I didn't have I had passed along the once again the full size version because but the tin is so much better. I can actually shuffle those. Yes, it's thinner. They're riffle shuffleable. They're just way easier to handle. So that makes me happy. Yeah.
I actually just got the tin too because the Lightseers I never used to read for myself. I only use that deck to read for other people. And so having a more portable version of it just makes sense, you know, because I can carry it around with me then. And so I'm going to get rid of my full size because like I would just rather have the tin version. It just makes more sense to the way that I use that deck. So
yeah. And I think the tin version, they did a great job of like, you know, capturing, you know, all the imagery in a little compact space. And it really,
it looks great. It's got a cute, nice little guidebook that fits right in. Like it's great. So
the size just really works for me. So I just feel like I should just get all the tins because like the Morgan Greer was the same thing. I got it in the tin and cardstock worked better for me. Lightseers. So maybe the Halloween Tarot will work better for me. Breathe it out. Oh
no! Sorry, Beth, you're cracking me up.
Yeah, maybe stop buying it, Beth.
I think that deck's just a no-go for you. Sorry.
Maybe it's time to just draw a line under it and move on.
Yeah. Like,
oh my goodness,
this one's never gonna work for me. Every time that card comes up, I'm just like, King of Pentacles.
Wow. See, now every time I see the King of Pentacles, I'm gonna think of Beth's ex.
Yeah, me too.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's so funny. So.
Yeah. Wow. Cool. All right. So I think we're done then.
Yeah.
So we're back on the 11th of November over on Sarah's channel for another live. And our monthly catch up will also be on Sarah's channel this month or next month at some point early November.
That's correct.
We are good to go. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with us while we talked about some spooky decks.
Sorry, I just had to pop up Beth's comment.
It wasn't working.
You know, you gotta try what you think will work. You know.
You know what they say about the definition of insanity is, don't you?
Oh my God, that's so hilarious.
That's awesome. So funny.
You guys are the best.
Thanks very much, everybody. I don't know how to do the end.
I'll do it.
I wasn't going to bother, but
yay! There we go. Woo-hoo. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.